All right, then, welcome to the post-race interview for the Spanish GP in the Bwoah Racing League. I'm Sushit and I'm going to be taking the post-race interview today. So just to recap the results, in first place we had the Supreme Lido, second place was Big Man Joe, and third place was UK. So coming to my first question for the Supreme Lido, race win, you must be pleased. How's the race from your perspective?
Actually, I was pretty confident right from the start with my strategy as well as with my race pace at Spain. Because even during the previous season, I'd actually won here and I had a strong finish last time as well. So I was pretty confident that I would end up in the podium in Spain. But yeah, it was actually a very consistent race for me. There was no hiccups anywhere, and I pretty much kept it consistent throughout the whole race at every corner. So it was, I guess, pretty solid race it was for me.
Yep. And coming to Big Man Joe, it was agonizingly close at the end, right? I mean, like Startik said in the commentary, another lap, and maybe you might have pipped Supreme Leader for the win. So, how's the race for you? Like, how did it go?
Yeah, qualifying was a bit of a hiccup there because I planned on doing the medium qualifying on the medium tires, but I didn't know I would be so far off. Like I didn't know. I felt, even though I did the lap at the final portion of the, I did it at the last run basically, but the track evolution didn't come into play. I was not sure. I was almost like 6, 7 tenths off what you could do with the medium. Like my Rocket Man, my teammate did a lot, much better time than me. So starting in 10th, 11th was pretty like nerve-wracking for me because I don't have a lot of experience starting from the back. But it went well. It went well pretty much throughout the race. And to be honest, looking at the race result, it doesn't seem like this is a weak track for me, but this is actually one of my weakest tracks, Bahrain being the other one. Not in terms of pace, but in terms of me like making mistakes. Like in turn 5, turn 6, I always spin out. So I was happy that I was able to like keep it consistent. Last lap in the way, what I basically did was I just thought, let me go for the fastest lap. So on lap 32, I just saved up all the batteries and just did a quali lap at the end. So that's why it looked like I closed up to him, but it was just a push in the end. It was a good race throughout, yeah.
So you're saying that like unlike the commentary and how it looked, you probably might not have made the race win then.
No, because like even when Ashwin was on the mediums and hards, like we were exchanging like laps. Like on some parts of the track, he was fast. On sector 3, I was like closing up to him. So we were pretty much like equal throughout the race. I don't think I had like that. You need at least half a second or a second more to overtake someone here. So we were pretty balanced. So I was hoping a podium would be the ideal position, and it did. Yeah.
Cool. Coming to UK, so like after we rejoined the stream on I think lap 13, like you lost out to Vix a couple of laps after rejoining, and then you got the position back. And after pitting again, it seemed like you were pretty much by yourself until the end. How was the race from your perspective?
Yeah, well, I started P2 and I knew Vignesh will be very risky to overtake. So, like, turn 1, lap 1, I tried to be as chill as possible. I slotted behind him. And then we both had the softer tires. So, like, I was trying to maintain the gap to him. So, like, I was not knowing the pit strategy he was going to do. And I was told something else before the race, the strategy. So, yeah, so apparently we both pitted on the same lap. We were close by, and then he went for the hards, whereas I switched to mediums. And since I was on the faster tire, I had to create a gap now. So it took me 1 lap to overtake him after the pit stops, and then I was trying to create a gap, but then suddenly this Thunderbird came in front of me. He was P5 at the moment, so he blocked. He held me up. He was obviously was trying for giving his best for his position, but yeah, I had a 2.5 seconds lead that time to Vignesh, and I was creating more gap. But then by the time I got clear of Thunderbird, Vignesh caught me up, and then again we started to have a battle, and it wasn't good for me because my mediums wouldn't have lasted longer, whereas he was on hards. So yeah, that was a dent in the race. Could have gotten me P2 or P1 eventually, but yeah, let's see. And then to second pit stops also, I went to the mediums. And then I was hoping that someone messes up, because Spain is not my best track, like as Big Man Joe said, turn 6 to 7, I think. Yeah, I was being very cautious over there, always getting some oversteer. So yeah, and then I saw Vignesh pitting for softs at lap 27. So I was like, okay, I can catch him. And yeah, by the end of lap 32, I think, yeah, he closed on me and only had 1 second gap. And I was being worried whether he'll catch me or I'll make a mistake into turn 6 or something. But yeah, I held my position and got the podium.
That's good. So all of you mentioned like Spain either being a strong track or weak track. So it's a question for all of you actually, like in the same order, like the Supreme Leader first. You mentioned that Spain is one of your better tracks. Do you think it's your best track, or like which do you think is your best and your weakest track?
I think there are several tracks where I find it easy to actually maneuver my car, but it actually depends on your setup. If you get your car setup right, any track could actually be working to your favor, and you'll be pretty much solid on every track. So it all depends on how you do your setups for your car, particularly because every car is different in its own way. Like Racing Point is different compared to a Toro Rosso or Williams and a Mercedes. So you have to know what your car strengths are, and you have to work your setup around that particular car. So if you do it, I guess every track would be uh, pretty easy to drive around with more stability, and you won't be spinning around. You will be feeling comfortable in hitting every corner and getting the best out of your car. So. But personally, for me, I do like Spain, Baku especially, because of the challenge it brings in. Even Monaco in that aspect, because of the chaos it will be creating, especially during next weekend. We're all looking forward to it. So, yeah, basically it depends on how you set up your car.
And how about you, Daniel?
Weakest tracks, yeah, definitely Spain and Bahrain for me. Just too many mistakes in the sense that even though Ashwin was talking about setup, like I feel there are some drivers who a particular style of driving, depending on how smooth or aggressive you are. So my style of driving suits tracks which are like long and flowing corners. Silverstone is one, USA is another one, Germany is one. So these three, I would say, are my favorite tracks, and I tend to post pretty good lap times there. USA, I almost won last time out, and but KTP eventually beat me there. So these are those long flowing corners where I feel I've got used to that, and basically trail braking. It's one of the hardest things to do on a controller, but I somehow managed to find a way to do it. And USA is one place where there's a lot of what you would call it's not exactly start and stop corners in the sense that you need to trail brake, hold the car into the corner, and then go on the throttle again. Whereas Bahrain and Spain is basically like you're either braking and turning in or stopping and turning in. So it's almost basically like stop and go. Even Baku is that way. So you can't trail brake anywhere at Baku. You'll be in big trouble, because if you basically trail brake into a 90-degree corner, you're in trouble. You're going to hit the wall.
Yeah.
So I had to basically keep changing my driving style for all these sort of tracks. But thinking about Monaco, I feel I've had good results there for some reason. I got P2 last season. So it's more about the driver versus the track rather than drivers versus each other. So we'll see who comes out in the end. Yeah.
Nice. And Utkarsh, you're strong in weak track.
Weakest track, yeah, like Monaco will be challenging, but I seriously hate USA. Like I can't get any lap proper over there. So yeah, but I think I can perform well in Monaco. As Danny said, it's like a driver versus a track, and it's all about keeping it into the black stuff, not hitting the barriers. So yeah, and Bahrain was my favorite track. So, but I didn't get the results I wanted there. So like, yeah, let's see what happens. It's a sport. So.
That's nice. All right. So coming on to the next set of questions, Ashwin, you had a very long stint on the hard tires. I think it was about 20 laps, if I'm not wrong. So, like, I think it was just 2 laps. Like, you think it was a strategic masterclass from your side, and was that always the plan from the beginning?
There was no strategic masterclass. Actually, during the quali, I set out. I knew I was going to start on the mediums, but it depended on how many people were actually going to start on mediums as well. So basically, when I checked the race director, there were a lot of people who were going to start on softs. So I thought I'll do something different, and I stick to my own strategy, my own initial strategy of medium and hards. But the time I did the first time around wasn't sufficient enough. Like I was around P9, I guess P9 or P8, and Grihit and Rocket Man were ahead of me, and both started out on mediums as well. So I tried another stint on the mediums during the quali, which helped me get to P6 during the start. So yeah, so basically I put in 6 laps of medium tires already on the quali. So I had to like restrict my medium tire during the race because they had already sufficiently bad out during the quali. So what I did was I switched to hards much earlier than I would have actually preferred to, because the medium tires are already worn out towards max. And then it was about managing my hard tires throughout the race actually. Uh, when Danny actually came out on his hards, I pushed just that hard to actually get away from his DRS zone so that I don't give him DRS. And after that, I was just consistently maintaining my race pace such that I managed my tires as well quite for the entirety of the race. So it was actually pretty much on the spot planning, I must say, actually, my tire strategy. And at the end, it was almost 80%. So I would say that my strategy worked out inch perfect, and I was pretty happy with it. Yeah.
And well, Daniel, so you were on a long stint as well on the hard tires. Like I think it was just 2 laps younger than Ashwin. So do you think maybe a different strategy would have given you the win, or do you think the strategy you used was the best one?
I think medium to hard was definitely the way to go. Like I checked the time difference between medium to hard and like the two-stop strategy, and there was almost a 10-second time difference there. Like even the guys who came out on softs towards the end, they would have been really fast, like almost 2 seconds, even 1.5 seconds fast, but they would not have overtaken us. They could have caught up to us like right on the last lap, but they would not have overtaken us. So medium to hard was definitely the way to go, but I started out in P10. No? That was the big issue with qualifying. So if I had started higher up, then maybe things would have changed. But anyways, it worked out in the end. And all of us, I think we were all struggling with tire issues. I could make out like the tires on especially the front left and the rear left were all like pretty much in the region of 100 degrees or so. And anytime the tires go above that, you're accelerating your tire wear. So I think it had to do with the setup or something like that. And plus, it's a clockwise track, right? So you're pretty much your entire left-hand side of the car is pretty much being loaded through all the corners. So, but I think all of us managed it. No punches, unfortunately.
Fortunately.
Yeah.
So, Utkarsh, you started eating into the gap between you and Daniel towards the end, but I guess not enough laps to close in. Anything you'd have done different? You're still satisfied with P3?
Well, yeah, like even I could have gone with the medium hard strategy, but yeah, but what's done is done. So I was trying to catch up, but the one thing which took the most time out of me was being held up by Thunderbird, as I said earlier.
Yeah.
So yeah, if that wouldn't have been the case, who knows? Like I would have caught up to them, and P2 would have been up for grabs. Slightly disappointed, but yeah, podium.
Actually, UK strategy would have won if there was a SE or at least a virtual safety car, I feel. And I was quite surprised that both safety and virtual safety car didn't come out at any point during the race.
Came out, yeah.
Otherwise, UK would have possibly won it.
Well, can't have everything go your way, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Ashwin, as informed by Sarthak, actually, like I saw the standings, it's your second win in 5 races. So it's definitely good for you and the team in the championship. So yeah, how does that feel?
Actually, yeah, Racing Point have been giving out strong results past few races. I guess after Australia, we set it out in the right direction, like not to make a mistake during the race, just keep it consistent throughout, and that's been working for us quite well. And also, I guess Haas has been like catching up to us at a faster pace, so we have to actually keep our heads straight and keep bringing these points home. Because it's still a long season to go, still I guess 16 more races, and Haas has a strong team, and even Alpha, Danny already pulling out the strings, and if Rocketman can actually support him, it would be a strong top 3 finish actually, and it could go either way till the end of the season. So me and Vignesh have to keep our head still and keep bringing home the points, and I guess it'll do fine.
Yeah, but it certainly must help for your like confidence going into the next race because you're just 2 points behind the title lead.
Driver champion, Danny. Yeah, actually, I was calculating he was 9 points ahead of me before the race started, and I thought if I get anywhere ahead of Danny, I could actually close in on him, and it worked out pretty fine. I was able to get in P1 and get those 7 extra points ahead of him, and now it's just 2 points. So it's going to be, I guess, it's going to be close between us. So, and I have to just keep my consistency level at par with Danny's, and hope to get out the best from the rest of the season. And I think it's going to go till the wire for the driver championship.
So Danny, like Ashwin just mentioned, like your consistency, 4 podiums in 5 races. That must definitely please you, right? So you're thinking about the title win yet, or are you just going to take each race as it comes?
Yeah, pretty much like you said, I'm not looking at the table at all because as a steward, I have to calculate points and do all of this stuff. But I'm pretty much, like ignoring the table at the moment. Just taking each race as it comes. Tracks that I'm strong at, try to win or go on the podium. Tracks that I'm weak at, just try to finish as strong as possible. Try to avoid any DNFs or any more mistakes. Baku was unfortunate in that way because I didn't predict what would happen with pit stops in the sense that I was going to go on the softs and then okay, the wing broke, but then every time I came into the pits to change the wing, it didn't change. So I sort of panicked at that moment. So I was like, I didn't face that issue before. So yeah, it was a new learning experience for me. So hopefully it can improve on that. Yeah.
And Utkarsh, coming back to you, you're 4th in the championship thanks to 2 back-to-back podiums, and still plenty of races to go, and it's actually quite tight between 3rd, 4th, 5th, and even a little below you in the standings. So do you see Monaco as a race that you absolutely need to get a good result in, or is there still time and you can take it a little easy?
No, definitely. Like we have to perform. The Haas team, we have to perform better in Monaco and need to get the team results in to at least close up the gap to Racing Point. Like I've had my fair share of bad luck with 2 disconnections while leading the race, and like in Bahrain and in China, and then Australia I didn't even participate. So yeah, the scenario would have been different by now, but Monaco should be good for us. Let's see what happens.
All right, and one final round of questioning. So looking ahead into the next round in Monaco, there are hardly any overtaking opportunities in the track. So what are you looking forward to, and have you already started thinking about how to approach the race?
Yeah, probably we have to get a strong quality result and get ahead of everyone else, and hope to have a clean race and keep your wings just clean. And I guess it'll be a good race at the end of the day. So these 3 things have to be done calculated. That is to get a good quality and keep your wing clean. And I guess with a consistent pace, you'll be able to get a good result at the end of the day. And it's also a traditional track, so we got to enjoy ourselves and just give it our best, I guess.
Yeah, so last season I came up with what you could call a statement about Monaco. Like, if you are a fast car at the middle, like at the back of the grid, trying to overtake someone on Monaco is like worse than childbirth. So it's excruciating. There's literally nothing you can do. It's like that meme, no, where Mr. Bean is trying to go like overtake that old lady down the
Yeah,
stairs.
Old lady,
Exactly like that. So basically, try to finish high as possible because the guys at the back, they can really. No disrespect to them. I mean, they're doing their best, but they can really ruin the race for us in that sense. So finish as high as possible. Make sure that we don't get caught up behind, and yeah, hopefully we are able to keep it clean. I shouldn't hope that, but yeah, let's see.
Yeah, so even I'm thinking like we should have a strong quali result, like going on the softer tire, finishing in front of the, like in the top 5 or something, and then we can salvage the race or something, like by holding up people behind. It's very easy to hold up people in Monaco, and so yeah, that will be my strategy. Hopefully, it works out.
And hopefully no one goes for a late lunge and takes any of you out. That's another
Oh
thing to
yeah,
look out for.
Ashwin, please inform your teammate about this.
Sure. All right.
All right, that's it from my end. So thanks to all of you for joining in. And yep, see you next week in Monaco. Good luck.
Yeah, have a good day, guys.
Cheers, man. Yeah.